Hello and welcome to the latest, hottest, freshest Gribbly's Folly Sunday anti-social hour. That time each and every week where I smoke my pipe and complain about humanity while answering all of its questions. And if you are a piece of humanity with a question for me, put it in the comments down below with the hashtag AskGribbs, and I will answer any question. Big questions, small questions, obscure questions, personal questions. You cannot imagine a question I won't answer. I hope that you are ready for some serious complaining, boys and girls, because I'm having a day. I think I'm gonna have a new policy where if I have to come down to if I make more than 3 trips back and forth to the garage, no video. No video that day. I so envy people that have a real studio, like that don't have a piece of mat board hanging over the window behind them to block the light, and then like the light shining off the concrete under their garage door in their face. I mean, if I don't move, it's kind of nice fill light, actually. But if I move, for any reason, that looks like my garage is haunted, right? Like, and there's like shadows. It's not, it's just the light under the door. Speaking of which, I was making a lot of trips, and I left the door open, and the sun shone on my chair. And then when I sat down to make the video, the chair was warm, and I was like, This place is haunted. It's a horror movie in here. I mean, a Netflix original horror movie. Not a good one, but still. All right, okay. Special occasion. Today, I am going to open a jar of HH Old Dark Fired from 2016. It's such a special occasion that I can't even get it open, actually. Like, it's impossible. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to be smoking it in my Stanwell Admiral Shape 115. Is that right? Hang on. Oh my gosh, I'm too old to read the shape number. Shape 58. 53. Shape 53. This is a desert island pipe for me. I bought this one upon the news that my wife was pregnant with our son. Because that's what you do, right? You're going to have a child and incredible expenses, so you go out and buy something. If I were going to be washed ashore with just a bunch of tobacco in a pipe, I would rather have like a lifeboat. But if I could just have a pipe, this would be the one. Although now that I'm thinking about this, is there a pipe you could use? Like if you got one of those really big Boswells, could that be a flotation device? But barring questions like that, I mean, this one it's small, it's compact, it's really good looking. This is my handsomest pipe. Every man needs a slender, petite billiard, even if you don't smoke a pipe, you could put a toothbrush head on this end and just brush your teeth with it. In case you can't tell, I don't have a plan for this video. I'm just going to sit down and talk. I didn't get a lot of that's not true. I got a lot of comments on the last one. Not a lot of Ask Gribbs questions, and I was wondering why, because it got good views and lots of engagement, and then I realized, on that subject, the Trump-Clinton blowjob. What more is there to say? Humanity did not have a lot of questions to pose to me on that, and I think that's fair. But upon making that video, I realized I'm really way behind as a YouTube pipe community member. And I checked my cellar, and I've got a lot of tobaccos that are 10 years old now. 10 years old. Because that is when this channel started. We've been going 10 years. I think we've already passed the actual anniversary, in classic Gribbs style, we're going to be late on that. And of course, this video is going to come out late. Sorry. But I was looking at all my tobaccos, and I thought I really need to smoke the HH Old Dark Fired because it's getting old. I don't know when tobacco ages out, I should probably watch one of YTPC's influencers to find out. I have to be careful with this one because I remember that it was a blend that could overwhelm the senses with it could make you violently ill. Too much nicotine for a lightweight like me. However, on this topic, I will say that I keep getting comments on my Elizabethan mixture video about the time that it nearly killed me, and most people are like, yeah, that's a funny story, or yes, some tobaccos do that to me as well. And then there's always these old guys that are like, that didn't happen. You made that up. Or they're like, it wasn't the tobacco, you got a stomach bug coincidentally. It's impossible for tobacco to do this to you. And then lately it's been, there was mold in that tobacco. That doesn't normally happen. You smoked moldy tobacco. You got anthrax from your moldy tobacco, and that's what made you instantly nauseous. I'm sorry. This was Elizabethan mixture. It was a Dunhill tobacco. It didn't come from Cornell and Deal. That's how long I've been doing this. Back when Dunhill tobaccos were made by Dunhill. When I started in the YouTube pipe community, it felt like the golden age of tobacco. And now, I guess, I don't know if it still is or not. What do y'all think? But it seems like all the blends that we talked about back then are now discontinued. And Peterson is making Dunhill, which probably is just a name change. I never really liked Dunhill tobaccos anyway. But what's left? What remains do we wander through which I'm not going to finish the sentence. Can we get to the complaining, please? Do you remember like 3 videos ago, I bought a new tripod to hold my microphone that I use here. And I was like talking about cheap tripods. And, you know, every now and then you just need to buy a cheap tripod. It's going to sit in the same place forever. What could go wrong? It broke. Seriously, I'm not making this up. It broke, like the little tab on the tripod leg just broke off. I came down here and I found it on the floor right next to the tripod. Like nothing hit it. It just, temperature changes. It just broke off and landed on the floor. I'm cursed. I've got 10 years doing that. I should have a doctorate in YouTube pipe videos by now. And I still have a tripod that just breaks by itself. ASMR coffee pouring. So with a lack of questions to respond to, I thought we just have kind of a vlog Sunday antisocial. Do you remember vlogs? That was fun, wasn't it? Time moves so fast. You know, we thought we were cutting edge 10 years ago. No. But let's go ahead and get to the few comments that we do have. Beatles U2 says, oh, because I was talking about Bob Dylan is like, he just writes songs that other people cover better. He says, correct, but the best is Hendrix's All Along the Watchtower. What does that song mean? Here, okay, all right. The measure of a good song is that you have an idea of what it means. It might not have an objective, like, definition that everyone, you know, can point to and say this is what it's about. But you should believe that you know what it means. What does that song mean? No one knows. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I've never been a fan of that song. Blake's Pipes. This is a comment that snuck by, or just walked by because YouTube's comment system is incredibly broken, and I just don't see all the comments. How is your fishing life going? Is it getting back to normal after Helene? I don't really know. I have not fished a lot this year, and when I have fished, I've gone for stockers because I don't want to mess with the native fish or the wild fish. If you are one of those people that draws the distinction between them, I don't think I have had a full day fishing this entire year. Like in terms of, I mean, I've had, I'm sure, a full day's hours worth of fishing over the course of the year. But every time I've gone fishing, it's been like, oh, I've got a few hours, I'll go out. I haven't had one day this year where I get up in the morning and I go fish all day. I haven't had a single day where I've fished multiple spots. So I don't really know. It's hard to compare. It's been slow in non-stocked waters, but I have still caught some fish. They are still there, living in the water. One of the hatcheries in North Carolina was flooded, and all the fish died or escaped or whatever they do into water that I'm sure would kill a bunch of stocker fish. So even the stocked fishing was like maybe off this year, but honestly I didn't fish enough to know. However, on the 4th of November, I did have, like, I went fishing for 2 hours and caught like 7 or 8 fish. So that's pretty good. And it wasn't, the stocking truck hadn't just driven away. So I guess there are enough fish to stock, I guess. A3006 asks Gribbs, are we living in a simulation? Who is monitoring this data and why? This is an unanswerable question, but that is why you bring it to me, because there is no question that I won't answer. And so, yeah, of course we are. No, of course we aren't. And there's really no difference between those answers. Like, if you want to get creationist with it, God created the universe, which would mean that he made a simulation. If you're going to believe in like the Marvel Comics version of God as like a character that sits on a throne, then he's got some other reality we can't understand, and he made this reality which is, I mean, you could use a different word for it. It's a model. It's a dollhouse. I don't know, but it's a simulation. If you want to go the other way with it and you don't believe in a higher power, then we could be living in a simulation made by an advanced species with a Dyson sphere. They like take the entire star's output and turn that into quantum computing power, and they've made our universe to simulate it. But doesn't that sound kind of like a higher power? Which leaves the third explanation, which is that there's not even a higher order, and the universe just appeared from quantum background fluctuations. And what are the quanta? Why is there a background, and why does it fluctuate? There's no answer to that. I mean, excuse me. I have an answer. Let me think about it. This is at base life's deepest quandary, right? Like, can we as beings that live in reality, can we understand any perspective on the reality that we live in? Can a Minecraft cow understand Minecraft? Obviously the answer is no. But then the real question is, how do you feel about that answer? Are you like, yeah, we can't understand reality, oh well. Or are you like, we can't understand reality, and that in itself is evidence of something? Like the fact that this defies words. There it is. New policy. I will answer any question, but I don't have to use words. But I'll tell you where I have arrived with it, which is that I just don't care. I think that the idea that there is some mechanism to get us out of the reality that we live in, that we could harness. You know, you could pick up the phone in the phone booth. Remember phone booths? You could pick up the phone. In 10 more years, do you think when kids watch The Matrix, they're going to understand any of that movie? So you pick up the phone, right? And Trinity's on the other end of the phone, and she's like super hot. So you want to go through the phone to get out of reality, you know? And that's fantasy. But can you really say something is fantasy if you don't know what reality is? All right, we got to move on. Cascadian Piper, we were talking about, communist anthems. And he says, what I was really asking about was regular old workers' collective bargaining rights, and less a burgeoning proletariat class consciousness leading to a violent revolt against the plutocrats and establishing a workers' utopia. Got any good songs for that? Sure. Rage Against the Machine's cover of Maggie's Farm. Here's the thing. There is no utopia. We're just talking about the same question as before, aren't we? Back when I talked to people, I had a buddy that we worked in a newsroom together, and we would talk about policy, because it was 2012 and politicians still cared about that. And it felt like the American public still cared about policy at that point. And we would debate policy stuff and talk about left versus right political doctrine. And nothing's ever right. Nothing. This light's wrong and my tripod's broken. I can't get my light right. It's like I'm in front of a beauty dish. It's like if I do that, right? Like I'm a model. But if I do this, I'm in a horror movie. How about that? How about now I'm a model in a horror movie? There we go. No, that's perfect. I'm the final girl. I'm the one that makes it to the end, that doesn't get killed by the guy with the chainsaw. So what were we talking about? If you don't believe in a mixed economy, you believe in utopia, right? If you're a hard left communist, that idea is based on a theoretical utopian concept. And if you're a hard right, like libertarian capitalist, that is also a utopian concept. Reality, simulation or not, reality doesn't care about your theoretical concepts. It really doesn't give a shit. I think a great movie that illustrates this is Enemy at the Gates, which is it's a Hollywood war movie, but also it's deeper than people think, because it illustrates sort of an anti-communist idea that, like, even in the midst of the great patriotic war, when the Soviets at Stalingrad are beating back the Nazi imperialists, there is reason for men to hate each other. Rachel Weisz, she's pretty much the reason. In a good way. She's awesome. So there's that, and then you can look at any number of. Did you know that RoboCop is a satire? I've never actually watched it, but it was everywhere when I was a kid, and I just thought it was about a RoboCop. That and Starship Troopers. And the thing about Starship Troopers was that I read the Heinlein novels, and I was like, yeah, libertarian utopia on the moon. And then I read Starship Troopers, and I was like, maybe they didn't. Maybe the people down on Earth didn't have it all figured out, and then but they fight the bugs, right? And then you're like, well, okay, we can handle a little bit of fascism if it beats back the bugs. And then we get back to our reality where I'm like, hey, y'all, we've got a lot of fascism and there aren't any bugs. Why do we do this? So yes, a vlog style Sunday antisocial where I just stream of consciousness right here. I got extra coffee and a lot of nicotine, and we're just gonna go. I watched House of Dynamite last night, and it was really good. I like it. Maybe I'm just easy to please now because I did a lot. My last movie review was the Springsteen movie, and I was like, yeah, it was really good. Okay, so House of Dynamite. It was a Netflix original, which I've already made fun of. But mostly the way you can tell a Netflix original is there are never any, or an Amazon Prime original or whatever. There's never any wide-angle shots with a deep focus where everything's in focus. And I think that they do that because those shots are expensive. Those require logistics and budgeting concerns and a lot of extras. And so anytime I start watching a movie and it's just tight shots with shallow depth of field like my videos, right? I got no budget. I got no logistics. Everything looks like this. It was super tense. It was good. It was super tense. For those that don't know, it's about what would happen if we woke up one day and there was an ICBM heading toward the continental United States, which is an intercontinental ballistic missile, for those of you who don't know, for if you didn't grow up in the Cold War. And so it follows like the White House Situation Room and like different, there's like some air base in Alaska that it's paying attention to, and then the president himself. And I won't spoil the ending, but if you've watched it, you were probably really, really upset. And I was really upset as someone who just kind of wanted an entertaining movie to watch. I was very upset, but the more I think about it, the more I really like the ending as a piece of social commentary. I'm still a little upset though. I'm not feeling a lot of nicotine. Again, it's 10-year-old tobacco, and I don't know. Is there a Walter White in my audience that can talk about the chemical breakdown of tobacco over time? Like, I know that old tobacco is better tobacco, right? But then at a certain point, is it really? And this is good, but it's not as good as I remember. I remember a really bold, like full-bodied kind of thing, and this tastes a little dry. Like it's not a dry tobacco, but it tastes a little dry, a little mid-scooped, like early Metallica guitar tone. Like there's something missing. Words fail to describe existence. There's the title of the video. This video makes me nervous. It's a little quiet. It's a little, after the last one where it was a big news week, there was a lot to talk about. I don't know. It's too quiet. Nevertheless, I hope you have an excellent few days until I see you again. And thank you for watching. And let's hope it's not quiet because we're about to be invaded by space bugs. But even if we are, keep the ends out for the ties that bind.